All right, so now we're recording. Today's the 24th. We're gonna keep going here to the uh, today I want to kind of discuss in a bit more detail because a big part of this class is, eventually every assignment that you guys create in a class here is gonna be added to a portfolio. Right? Like most classes that we take, in architecture, always end up with a portfolio submission at the end of the semester. So this is the class that kind of gives you a bit more of a chance to improve your skills in portfolio. Uh, you know, in order to better showcase your stuff, to an audience, to a possible employer. So we cover everything in a lot of detail, and then we finalize things towards the end with a bunch of different assignments in Photoshop, and then we'll do one big one towards the end. That is going to be a group project, like we discussed before. It's a little design project, um, something that is kind of it'll be in our school, so it'll be kind of fun to work on. But for now, I keep trying to bring to you guys the importance of the portfolio, right? And again, I see a lot of portfolios every single day. I mean, this morning I finished reviewing uh, the portfolios for the B-Arch program that we have. That they were submitted before, and today was the day that the faculty kind of got together and went over every portfolio submitted, and we can critique everything, right? From the portfolio layout to the portfolio graphics to the portfolio design skills and to how things are, visualized. So the portfolio has kind of a very high standing in the application for the B-Arch program, and anything else you guys do. So it's kind of a large part of the grading, and not only the quality of the work, but how the work is shown in the portfolio, right? So the graphics, are they clear, right? Are they well organized, right? Do the pages make sense? Does the cover page or the table of contents, are they clear, and they tell you what's going to come up later in the portfolio, right? All those things, are really important. And although there are many good projects, in these portfolios, sometimes they're not really shown well. The portfolio, let's say cover page it's not interesting. The table of contents is not really organized, and then the work shown in the portfolio is messy, right? So that the pages are not really, they don't relate to each other, right? So when you show all your work, it doesn't seem to be as good as it should be if things were better organized. So this is one thing that I think is fairly important for this class and for everyone, because we can always try to improve our portfolio in our work, because definitely it's one of the most important things for us, as architects, or students, to be able to properly showcase our skills to anyone, right? So I think today, we'll talk a bit more about portfolio, have a lecture on portfolio that we can discuss in the class, to really try to understand the different parts that make up a good portfolio, right? Um, and this can be applied to the portfolio in this class. And of course, you can take those skills and apply them to your personal one, if you already have one, to try to improve, right? And then as we go in class, as we finish, different assignments, then, we'll finish the assignment, and then we'll take that assignment and we'll recompose it for the portfolio, right? So we can see how we can take a completed project and we can reorganize it, and how we can show it in a portfolio, in 2 pages or 4 pages, and how the portfolio can start to tell a story about the project. Because in the portfolio, you're not only showing your best work, right, or your final work, but the most important thing always is showing progress, right? Because I want to see how you got to that project. I want to see, before you got to your final design, what did you experiment? I want to see the process or the progress leading up to the final design. Those are the key things that are always important in any design project, right? Especially in the portfolio, right? Because the main thing is those things show your skills, right? If you show only the final image, with the final work, that doesn't show any skill. But if I can see in your portfolio that you first tried this, and then you tried this, and then this led to this, and then there's your final shot, then I see all your skills, right? And I know this person, can reason, can think well, he can design, and he can create a pretty cool, project. Those are the things that should be kept in mind when you guys kind of work on a portfolio, right? Do you guys ever think of these things when you guys work on different portfolios?
Yes, all the time.
All the time? Yeah, Alex? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, again, and I'm kind of more today because I spent the morning reviewing a lot of portfolios for the B-Arts program, and although there was a lot of good work, there, the layouts needed better. I mean, there were, I would say, I saw maybe 2 or 3 that were really nice layouts. The rest didn't work, with the layouts, which means the cover page, the table contents, and how the pages are organized. So I think we can always do a little better with these things here. How do you guys currently feel with your, how your current portfolio looks, your main one? How do you feel with your table of contents, your cover page, all the different parts that make up a portfolio? How about Julia? What do you think of your portfolio?
I definitely would like to work on it. Like, there's certain things that I feel like I have a problem with, which is like, the layout, I guess, of like images.
Yeah.
Just so there isn't like a lot of white blank space. That's definitely something that I want to work on.
Okay, good. I think before I cut somebody off, who was that? That was about to talk?
I was just gonna say something.
Okay, Chris, yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of say it's the same for me. I've struggled with like finding a balance between showing off the work and then having a good amount of white space to kind of like contrast what I actually show.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like arranging images in ways that just make sense. So I'd say it's a problem.
Okay, I mean, that's actually the hardest thing is trying to arrange images, because you want a good balance of, let's say, of white space and your work, and you don't want everything to be completely just your image because it gets too crowded.
Yeah.
You do want some white space because the white space makes your images look better, right? Because it gives it a breathing space, you can further appreciate them. But sometimes, you can either give too much white space or if you don't put the images in the right, like for example, if every page is the same, it gets fairly boring, right? So the pages need to have some diversity. So you have maybe one rendering, one sketch, one plan, so that your eyes always engage in seeing something else. Once you see the same layout every page, in every page, then you assume the same thing is coming again and coming again. So you find less interest in looking at this portfolio. So the idea is to always keep it engaging, right? And keep, I would say you have maybe 3 or 4 different page layouts that you can, you can try out, kind of mix and match those pages so that the work, it's always kind of unique, right? When you see, when you turn the page to a new project, right? Something has changed. You don't have the exact same layout, which makes it less interesting, right? To see the project. Yeah. So I mean, again, today we have to review, the resume and cover letter, which I already went through a bunch of them here, and they look pretty good. But I want to spend, so we'll see if we go to that part today. But I want to start today with the portfolio, right? So we have more time to really discuss it in detail, right? Because after that portfolio, right, your next task would be to develop, for this class, it's a unique cover page and a unique table of contents, right? That we can work throughout the semester, right? And we can use to define our, our coming projects in a class, And I said before, this first part is regarding, presentation of who you are, which means, the LinkedIn profile, the resume, the cover letter, the portfolio. These are all things that make up what things that you can do. And then after that, we're gonna work on several assignments relating to Photoshop, right? Another tool that is very common to use in the office that we really don't talk about as much in class. I don't think we teach it anywhere besides maybe small lessons here and there, but and then we're gonna use that Photoshop to create, different images that are fairly typical to achieve in offices, which means, we're gonna create a poster design, right? Because many times we are presenting work for a competition, right? For a client, and we're limited to just one, let's say one poster size, Then we're gonna also present, work on making more precise looking diagrams, for presentations. We're gonna work on creating a series of not collage, but like photo montage images, which are more like a very basic rendering that you do before you get to a 3D software. So before you make a rendering in 3D Max or Lumion or Twinmotion, you typically work in Photoshop to create, renderings. This could be renderings of daytime, evening. We can do a photo montage of a building against. These are all things that happen that are part of the design process and are done very often in an office, right? And then towards the end, once we get those skills down, we're gonna work on that group project in a class year, which is, it's probably the most challenging project because, and this is why, I keep it, because working in a group is not easy, right? First of all, every semester, we do it, and I explained, And there's always, let's say somebody who doesn't do anything in a group, right? And then we get all the complaints, this person didn't do anything, give him an F, or he did more than me. So, but again, that's really one of the elements that it's very important to work in office, because you really cannot pick who you work with, right? You have to work together. You have to motivate each other. Because groups is how you work in an office, right? You might be assigned to work group working on a new project, working with a new client, developing some research, right? And you can't always do it by yourself, So although it's very hard or challenging to work in a group, it's one of those skills that it's important, because in the skill here is to, who does what work, how do you guys get together? How do you make time to discuss ideas? Who takes the lead, so that'll be one thing that we can do later, and I'll try to make it into a more interesting project for this semester. So that gives you a kind of again a better idea of what things are coming up in that class. Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, Albert.
So if you put your progress from A to B, and you present it really nice, is there like a bad presentation or bad format to a portfolio?
Oh, there are many. Yes. I mean, it's just sometimes so the most typical things are the page layouts, right? Because either you're putting too much of the same stuff that becomes repetitive in a portfolio, or you're putting images that are very important and you make them very small, right? Or maybe that the rendering you're showing is not done well, so it doesn't give you the best light, or the way that the images are, or the size of the images, also are not laid out properly. So, we'll definitely discuss here, different layouts that we can do. We'll look at good samples of portfolios that I think are strong, right? And try to find what's the best way that we can make the best of the portfolio here, because it happens quite and of course again, this portfolio, that's the way to showcase your skills, and then of course once you submit the portfolio to let's say a company, right? You're applying for a job, maybe applying for an internship, right? You are competing against many hundreds of people, maybe thousands, because they have people sending work from overseas, people from the States, and you might getting they might be giving you emails with PDFs, or they might sending a package with a physical copy of the portfolio, and then when they get there, they all get stacked up on on boxes of these portfolios. So you want yours to be somewhat unique, right? To stand out, so it has a better chance of being seen by, let's say, an audience. So we'll discuss all those things today in the class here also. These are all kind of important things to be able to do here. And of course, probably the most important thing for us, and we discussed before, is being able to connect, right, to other architects, right? And we discussed, going to the Center for Architecture, right? Visiting those lectures there, staying after the lecture for the, they might have like a cocktail hour, where everyone kind of, stays around and discusses the lecture, and you get to meet other architects, right? That's where you want to kind of, exchange numbers, introduce yourself, because if they need somebody, they might call you, right? And that gives you a higher chance of getting hired than simply sending a random email to a company and hoping that somebody sees it, and then they're going to, of course, call you, right? So most jobs in architecture are gotten through a connection, right? And that's pretty much how so networking is extremely important for us as architects. Do you guys agree with this, or?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. How do you guys right now network, for example?
I network through
Yeah.
like visiting architectural friends.
Okay, architecture firms, right? Okay, that's good. Yes. Okay. How about anyone else? No,
Being in different school clubs and then like going to events
that's
with
good. Yeah. So which clubs do you belong to, Julia?
the AAS.
Okay. Is everyone here in the in that club, the AIAS, or in the architectural club?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean that's a start. Yes, definitely because they're gonna have different guests coming in, right? Those clubs might talk to other clubs in other colleges, right? And sometimes they do have like events for clubs, right, where they can all get together and exchange, kind of network, ideas, and of course, visiting lectures, right? And most schools have, you don't have to come just to our school. You can check Pratt, you can check NYIT, you can check Columbia, uh, what else? Cooper, um, yeah, Cooper. What else? FIT. They all have different lectures that are free to the public. Where you can check their schedule. You can
Yeah.
see some pretty great architects coming to the U.S. to lecture, right? So that would be a great start to be able to network with this. You can also go to the Japan Society on 41st Street, right? They typically invite a lot of great Japanese architects, and they do some great networking also afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Okay, good. So yeah, so that's always something that we have to always be able to do here. All right. So let's go here. Let's jump in here to this. Here, and we discuss in more detail the portfolio here. All right. Some things here might be already outdated, but I keep them just so you can see how things are changing from the past, going into the future now. So I mean, as we learn design, as architects, the way that we think, right, the portfolio and anything we do, it's a design project. Because we are thinking about the layout, the colors used, the format, the proportions, the type of text, how you lay. So it is a design project, because it requires so many of these things to be able to properly organize, the layout, right? So think of the portfolio like, because the portfolio will change over time, it will evolve like a design project, and it tends to get better. But in the beginning, you might go through, many layouts, before you're happy with one that you like to use, right? Yes. So again, for this question, how long should a portfolio be? And this is not for your personal portfolio where it can be as long as you want. Imagine you're applying for a job, you're applying for an internship, right? How big should those portfolios be? 15 pages or less, 20 or less, or as many as you want? A, B, or C. What do you guys think? Again, you're applying here for an internship, let's say.
I would say 15 pages or less.
Okay. Anyone else? So you have A.
I'll go for
Yeah.
it.
Hey,
So yeah, I would say
Agree.
A, yes. Yes. Why A then?
Because you don't want sorry. You don't want like too many pages because like people won't want to look through every single page.
Exactly, yes. I mean, your work might be amazing, right? But again, the person looking at your portfolio, he might have seen 50 portfolios that day, right? So, he might be tired, he might not read everything. So what happens is they just kind of browse through them fairly fast, and I do speak to a lot of these hiring managers, in different companies, right? And we always discuss, when you get a portfolio, how much time do you spend looking at the portfolio? Do you go through every single page? No, it's too much work, they glimpse through it, and hopefully some page will attract their attention, right? And that sets you apart from the rest. But if they glimpse fast and it's boring layout, and that's it, their portfolio is going in the trash. So and the idea here is to make it short, 15 pages. This could be 3 or 4 projects, right? Of your best work. And then if they like you, they're gonna call you back and say, okay, portfolio looks pretty interesting. Let's make an appointment, come to the office and we'll talk in person, right? Then when you talk in person, then you can bring your full portfolio, right? And then you can expand and maybe show more detail regarding the project, or you can show other work. But at the beginning, it should be fairly short. So under 15 pages, it should be ideally for applying for, like an internship. Okay. And again, this is something that somebody had given me. This is just you get all these boxes, and again, some people mail them in, right? So there's packages from, UPS, DHL, FedEx, some of them dropped off, and there's just portfolios, and again, you guys are not the only ones that are trying to apply, especially if you're trying to apply for a big firm, right? Let's say BARC Angels, SOM, KPF. These are, Gensler, they're very international firms, right? So you do have people applying from every part of the world, right? So it is pretty competitive to get these jobs. So again, trying to make it interesting is important for your, for your skills here. And the portfolio formats, right now, for the most part, these are the ones that we always use. Printed copies are not so much requested anymore. Only a few firms might request a printed copy. Most people now actually also have their own website because it's so easy, right? You can go on Squarespace, right? And there's one more company also that makes a very simple layout. But again, you can very easily make your own portfolio layout, right? You can make your own website and you can give a link, right? You can make also, of course, PDFs are good. The biggest thing I see with PDFs, is that students tend to make them to be way too big, right? So a PDF, should be what size? What do you guys think for your portfolio?
Is it for like an internship still?
Yeah, let's say it's a 15-page portfolio. So how big should this PDF be?
I would say like anywhere from 10 megabytes to 15, maybe.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I think the same.
Okay. So I mean, ideally, the ideal format is under 5 megabytes for that, and you can definitely achieve that pretty easily, with the certain compression rates, in the portfolio here. And that's important because again, they're getting so many files, and not everyone follows, I've seen portfolio submissions that are 300 megabytes, right? And it requires you to download this thing or, sign into Dropbox and download, or it's a zip file, right? And those portfolios are not ever, going to be seen, If you get a file that is that big, you're gonna delete the email and move on to the next one. So it's very important to properly format your portfolio to be ideally under 5 megabytes, right? So again, choosing a design, the type of portfolio you need to will depend on how you intend to use it. So are you looking for an internship, applying for school, applying for your first job, looking for a new job, looking for a freelance, because the portfolio, the work that gets shown there depends on what you're trying to apply for. If you're applying for a job, if you're applying for an internship as let's say as a 3D Max rendering specialist, right? Then your portfolio should be showing what?
Renderings.
Yes, that's it. Shouldn't be showing anything else because you're applying for that specific job. If you're applying for an internship, that's gonna be doing everything, then you might show a bit of rendering, a bit of hand skills, model making skills, design work, kind of different things to and of course in the future as you get more expertise, right? And you already worked on many projects when you're applying for, let's say, a job as an architect, you might be showing work that relates to that company's work, right? So whether it's housing, residential, so you try to always kind of organize the portfolio to fit the job you're trying to apply for, right? You don't just give the same portfolio to all the jobs and apply the same thing. It has to be tailored to that specific job. So that's definitely an important thing to consider for this. Choosing how to present. Consider the type of presentation you might want your career portfolio to provide. So can you view it online, right? Can it be used as a presentation in in a face-to-face interview? Is it a hard copy, or are you applying as an attachment? So there's different ways that you can submit. And many times when you apply for the job, they're going to tell you how they want you to apply or submit these things here for the for the job here. Excuse me. So I mean, your portfolio needs to be able to adapt, right? So that means that you're gonna have always two portfolios, right? Your main portfolio that has everything you've ever done, right? Every design class, every technical class, and then from that portfolio, you can just pick and choose pages, depending on the job that you're going to apply for. So you always have your main portfolio, and you have the one that you make from that portfolio, depending on what you're trying to apply for. So your portfolio can be whatever you want. It could be 200 pages, right? It doesn't really matter, right? It has all your information that you can easily pick and choose depending where you're going to apply for. So right now, how many of you have let's say a complete portfolio of your other courses?
I do.
And how do you organize your portfolio?
How I organize is the way I did it is I would make different iterations, and then I would receive some the feedback from my professors, and we improve the portfolio.
Okay, so then after every design class, you make a portfolio. And once you make the portfolio, do you keep working on those projects or do you just end it there?
No, I would keep working on it.
Okay, yes. I mean, in a way, yeah, many times when we do our design work, when we have, let's say, free time, summer, winter breaks,
Yeah.
we sometimes go back and kind of edit or improve, because we always think that, if I had more time, I could make the design better, right? And that's
Yeah.
fine. I would do the same thing in school. We'll go back when I had time. I would maybe my skills in rendering got better, so I would go back and I will re-render some designs, because I could make him look better. Or maybe my skills got better in AutoCAD, so I would go back and improve my drawings. And you're always kind of improving those skills, because that's what's going to get you a job, right? So again, also let your portfolio be an example of your style, because everyone here has a style, Doesn't mean that you like certain colors, but portfolios are very unique, almost like a fingerprint, right? So when I look at the portfolios, eventually I should be able to recognize that it's your work, right? Your style, right? And those things. So, but again, it's simple, clean, clear style that has a vision, right? Insight and is well built. All those things, are key because you wanted to be able to showcase your work in the best, the best light. What's this here? Review. So again, when you apply for a job, ask the employer what they want from you, right? They want electronic copy, reproduction copy, originals, such things. So, so this way you're not wasting time submitting stuff that you don't need, right? Hard copy and electronic copies should be matched the design style. So just like before, we discussed that, the cover letter and the resume need to have the exact same top of the page, with the logo, right? Your name, those things, so that when I look at those letters, I know that it comes from you. Same thing here, right? So when I look at the portfolio, right? When I look at the letter, it should all be one package, right? So you can start to see everything from one student, right? So think about, what doesn't mean that everything, but how can you start to connect your, your portfolio, your cover letter, your resume, so that it look like it is one person, right? Who designed them. And of course, only include your best work, because sometimes, I do see portfolios where, it is very hard to say, from this project, I'm only going to choose 2 images, right? Especially if you had, let's say, 20 images, right? Because you kind of, you made the work, so, you're proud of the work. But again, if you show 20 images of the same thing, it doesn't make it any better. It's better to choose 1 or 2 really good images, make him bigger, right? Then trying to
Yeah.
fill a page with 10 images, because that's one mistake that happens pretty often with portfolios, right? You put too much images of the same thing and you're not really showing much more, right? So not really that good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense for you guys? I mean, again,
Yeah.
it's time to get your also your comments if you have any.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's difficult. I want to show like all of my images.
Yes.
There's like a limit in how much I can show, so it's kind of I gotta think twice on my best images.
Exactly, yes. And again, and if you can't decide, because again, since you made everything, it's kind of hard to choose the best. What can you do to make it easier? Just ask somebody else, ask one of your colleagues at school, right? Ask him to or maybe ask the professor, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you think stands out the most, right? So this way, you have a new person with a new view, right? And he can give you the best one that stands out, because from your side, everything probably looks good, right? So it's much more difficult. Also, when you apply for a job, include samples that relate to the style and project type produced by that employer. So that's definitely important, because unless you're applying for a general internship where, they expect you to have kind of all general skills, sketching, model making, basic design work, basic CAD work, that you can show a general idea of everything for that, right? Of course, make sure the electronic portfolios are intuitive, right? To navigate, right? And the files open quickly, because the worst thing is to have a portfolio that is, let's say 100 megabytes, and you click and, you gotta wait for it to load. So this is why under 5 megabytes, it's ideal for the portfolios. And of course, a PDF file. This is probably old. I mean, it's still used rarely. It has to be a really old office, but again, I think it's time to take out this slide, because I don't think I've used a CD in when? Maybe like last time I used a CD was maybe like 10 years ago. And that was it. Have you guys ever used a CD before?
No.
No.
No, I
No
have
one?
not.
No.
Yeah, it's already antique now, technology, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is kind of the general idea. So then we go into the actual portfolio, right? So the portfolio, when you start to create the portfolio page, right? Whether it's the table of contents or the cover page or the actual work, right? You don't just start throwing images into this, let's say, into this white page, right? Why? Because if there's no underlying structure, when you go to the next page and the next page, you won't have that the connectivity, right? Between page to page, because you need some type of underlying structure that gives you plenty of flexibility, but still controls the design, so that even though you might change the layouts, it still follows the same structure, right? So for example, here, this is a typical magazine spread, right? So in this magazine spread, you're fairly limited to what you can do. First of all, it has 4 columns, right? So we have one column here, one column here, one column here. So that's your limit there, right? And this layout tells you, gives you some red lines over here. So it tells you you cannot go past those red lines, right? The text has to be from here to here, right? But if you want to, you can use 2 columns and make an image that follows, 2 columns, right? Even though, you're breaking the format, because this image fits exactly within here, it's still following the guides of this, layout here. You can say, okay, I'm gonna put a G and R ID, right? They are still following, because right now the letters are centered to these columns, right? So they're still following some type of structure that is defined by these by this grid system, right? That's really important for the portfolio, right? For us, this doesn't apply so much. For us, something like this, right? Well, imagine this page is 11 by 17, or, and more. For us, it'll be 8.5 by 11, right? That's a typical portfolio layout, right? Never do 11 by 17, because it's a very hard format to organize, and most offices just hate it. So always do 8.5 by 11. We define these, and again, you can define, do you want, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5.5 rows, right? So someone defined the size, you can say, mine's gonna have 4 columns and 4 rows, right? It doesn't really matter. The main thing is this grids here, like this, it's an underline so that you're not really going to see, because once you print it out, these lines are not visible, right? All you see is the only work. The nice thing about these lines is they're defined, and these lines will be the same thing in every single page, right? But like here, right, you can say, okay, for this page, I'm gonna have one image over here, right? One image over here, right? Which makes sense, right? A bunch of little ones here, little ones here, some text over here, some text over here, a big image here, right? That could be one layout, so there's plenty, this white space is good. You want to have some breathing space. And you might say, okay, in the next page, I'm going to treat it, differently, right? Maybe the next page, I want actually this here. I'm gonna go up to the grid. This is gonna be one big image over here. Maybe here, I'm gonna put another big image over here, following the grid. I think the text here looks pretty good. I'll keep this text over here. That's it, this white space, you can leave it there. That'll be a great layout right there. And this is just second one, you can do the same thing for many, many other ones, right? You might say that, okay, up here, I feel like having a large image over here. Here, I'm gonna put let's see, description over here. I need a bit more space. Here I'll do, let's see, I'm gonna put an image centered to the center line here. So centered to this point here. Another one over here. Centered to this. And it's a new layout, but still following the same grid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you want the grid to be the same throughout the entire portfolio, and all you do is change how the grid gets used, right?
Yeah.
Same thing here, right? Another grid over here, right? So, but again, in most cases, we'll have something like this that has double lines, right? But, define this grid, and this grid, again, can be defined through InDesign, right? And that's it, it's fairly simple. Once you have the grid, you have all the freedom to put images wherever you want, because you know that they're following the grid, and you can say in one page, the image is going to be, let's see here, exactly at the grid like this, right to the line, right? For example, you might see in the next one here, the image is going to be on the inside of the grid like this. You might say on the next one, the image is centered to this over here, where the lines intersect. Then my image, whatever that might be, is going to be centered to that image, right? Like this. And that gives you immense freedom to design, because every page could be different, or at least, you want to have at least 4 different kind of page layouts, right? So it keeps the page fresh every time you turn the page, and it gives you more of a style of a design than seeing the same, layouts, because the layout that I see the most, here is that most students would tend to either show 2 images, and this is how they show them, for example. So let's see. If this is the page, they're gonna do one medium-sized image like this, and then put the other one like this. And there they show their 2 pages, right? And what's wrong with this layout? So image here, image here.
It doesn't break down.
Doesn't break down, it's an odd layout, because it's like, they're touching over here, then you have all this white space over here, white space over here.
Yeah.
So it's an odd balance for the image, but this is probably the most typical thing I see with the images, right? So, and also the key thing is also to keep it diverse. I mean that, this could be an image, right? This could be a diagram, some text, right? So you want to have some diversity in the page. It shouldn't just be all renderings or all drawings or all sections. It should be different. That's what keeps the page exciting and interesting. All right. Like here, we have, rendering, image, diagram, main diagram, rendering, and of course some description here. And this can just be white space, right? So it gives you a nice movement, and there's some balance here between this part and this part over here, right? Even though we're following a whole different grid system here in the page. I mean, for the font, this is something fairly simple, right? So, you're probably gonna see 2 types, something like this, where the letters are fairly, simple, something more like serif, which is kind of more, you have all these things in red here. This is kind of more the style, kind of simple is better for architecture portfolios, right? Because you don't want the text to be distracting, and of course, don't put some weird text that I've seen many times, that looks like, I don't know, like little figures. Because you could technically download custom fonts, add them here, but it just makes it more complex, because it distracts from the actual work in the portfolio. All right. And then this is probably again a key thing here is the portfolio cover page, right? So the cover page is good because it sets the preview of the work to come, so you can typically tell by the cover page if this person has, put the time here to design a portfolio, right? If he doesn't care about the work, if he was trying to rush it, because this page it should be organized in a design way. Even like I did this one over here, right? Professor Beta, architecture, portfolio, cover page, right? It has some order, right? There's a mix of different colors. There's black, green, and gray, right? Some font is bigger. Some things are emphasized, with the A here. Some things are smaller because they're not that important, right? So there has to be some hierarchy, right? and you have to define what things are important for you to show in the cover page, right? So right now, how much thinking do you guys put to your cover page?
To be honest, I wouldn't say a lot.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
For me, I'd put like try to be creative with the cover page.
Okay. In what sense?
Like showing some really for example, a cool image of a building or anything related to architecture.
Okay. So yes, so something should, again, imagine the portfolio is it's placed in a stack of portfolios in an office, and they all have I don't know, a black cover page, which is very typical, right? Because what you get at Staples and Kinko's and those places. But yours is a page that is different, right? It just stands out, right? Then for sure someone's gonna go and pick that portfolio over the other ones that are there. So that's actually a really quick way to get your portfolio to the top of the pile and get it seen faster, right? Here, I just want to show different layouts. Some of them are good, some of them are confusing, some of them are bad. But so we can see different portfolio cover pages that I've seen throughout, the years, right? So what do you think of this portfolio cover page? What's your impression?
My impression is
Um,
not that good.
Okay, why not? Yes. What's
Uh,
lacking in here?
I would say that it's well doesn't really stand out
Okay.
and yeah, the lettering doesn't stand out as much.
It doesn't, right? So it's kind of hard to read, right? I mean, this pattern here, yes, could be
Yeah.
interesting, which is fine, right? But portfolio and these things are placed in a very chaotic location, so they're hard to see. Then very important is who does this portfolio belong to, right? So Eric over here is all the way down here, hard to see, right? So just like in the cover letter in the resume, your name is big, right? On the top, your name should also be big in here.
Got it.
You want to stand out, right? Oops. How about this one here? This is like a vertical format portfolio cover.
I think it looks really nice, but it's kind of like there's a lot for me to look at initially. I'm not sure if that's like
Oh, it's
good
true.
or
Yes, yeah,
bad.
definitely a lot of things to look at here.
Yeah.
It's a little busy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And again, you want to quickly see who does it belong to. It's hard to find Peter, right? He's down here.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, architecture is big and those things, but it's probably better for Peter to be here, and this could be a little smaller.
Oh, plus another thing,
Yeah.
you can see where it says architecture is like in portfolio, they look to me they're different sizes.
Yes,
Fonts. It would be better if it was just a whole same font.
exactly. Yes. So those things, yes. Yes. In that case, you're right. It makes sense to be continuous with the same font. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good eye. Let's see here. This one, it's again, it's missing. It's a white page here, but it's supposed to be a frame over here, right? So, but what do you think of this layout here? Yeah, it's meant to be like this, a page.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe the text could be in a different place than like under the kind of city landscape.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
It just kind of looks like you have to look at that to look at the text, and it's like
Yes.
you're primarily going to be seeing the black instead of the white for me.
Exactly. So I think that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's see a bunch more. Let's see here. This one again. This is it's interesting. Again, imagine that this is the page layout here. It's 8.5 by 11 like this. Okay. Again, somebody definitely spent time making this here, but the question here is, can you quickly read what it says here?
No,
No.
I can't read. It's hard.
It's a bit confusing as to what
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the portfolio could mean,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
to expect inside.
So like, definitely it's a P over here, right? And we can see the ORT. So this portfolio going through here. Here, I'm not sure. PAYL. I don't know what that is. O or D. Pay.
I see a K.
Maybe, yes. So within here, this portfolio and there's a name, right? But it's hard to decipher. And down
Yeah,
here, very, very small letters, it says their portfolio, right? So yes, in this case, definitely it looks like a cool pattern, but if you can't decipher it, then it makes no sense, right? It's just
yeah,
going to be annoying and it's going to be thrown in the trash. So all the work goes for nothing, right?
yeah,
This one here, again, and these are portfolios here, or at least they're not all meant to be architecture, right? Architecture can be different, different professions. So this one, what do you
Mhm.
think about this one here?
Well, I think this one's it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Kind of like the graphics. Um, it stands out.
Okay. But if you saw this cover page, what would you think about the person's interest in architecture? Like which focus are they on?
I would probably guess interior design.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing as. Why?
Yeah,
Because you have all this kind of design skills patterns, right?
yeah.
And what's the person's name?
Uh,
Harissa.
her, hers. I can't tell.
I don't know if it's Williams, but then it would be Charissa, which I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah.
Williams.
I never heard of a Charissa before, or Harissa, so I'm not sure. So it's still also a
Yeah,
little bit confusing.
yeah, me neither.
Yeah. I mean, the C, it's appears like the C is emphasized right here.
Yeah, the
It
H.
wouldn't be, so it has to be Charissa, I guess, right? And this must
No,
be I think a W
H.
or an H.
No, it's a H.
So if it's an H, it's Hillians. Yeah, it's also confusing. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's confusing.
So yes. How about this one here? This is a bit more architectural, let's say, for example.
Uh,
I personally like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple and it's like
yeah.
I can see what I need to.
Yeah, I mean, and it has the three key things, right? The person's name, right? It says portfolio and it says architecture, right? Those are the key things that should be there. Of course, you could put here New York City College of Technology, professor name if you want to, but these are the things that should always be there: name, portfolio, and architecture, right?
Yeah.
And here, I think they read pretty well. The name is clear, right? Portfolio is clear actually, and that's clear too. So, and it stands out, it's bold. So, I think that's a nice layout.
Yes.
This one,
Oh no, this is terrible.
so Terry Jackson Architecture Portfolio 2010, right? So
Yeah.
they just tried to fit the text into a box, and I mean it's just in this case it's just playing with letters, right?
Yeah, I would say, in my opinion, portfolio it should be way bigger,
Okay.
and the name should be small.
Yes. It's kind of hard to. This is kind of a bit confusing to understand here.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think even at one point I had this, again, because we, when you're younger, you experiment with different things, and eventually you see what works and what doesn't work, until you get kind of better in your, your skills here. How about something like this here?
I also like I like this one. It's pretty nice.
Why do you like it? Yes.
It's just pretty simple. There's like
This?
a color distinction, yeah.
It's simple, yes. I mean, it has the name, right? Zachary Art and Architecture Portfolio, and the school name, right? Those things. So it's pretty clear, fairly architectural, right?
Yeah.
How about this one here?
No.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
very quick, yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's bad. Like when I look at this, it's my eyes are more focused to the image than the
Yeah.
lettering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could
Yes.
be the opacity is low.
Yes. So I mean, the image in the background is actually pretty cool. I don't mind the image. It shows like a skill of hand drawings, right?
Yeah,
I
structure.
mean, and he tried to follow this with a font that looks like a pencil or an ink, but it's so thin.
Light. It's too light.
Yeah, light that you really can't see it. So
Huh.
I mean, in this case, I would have used, all this kind of black platforms here. Maybe you make it into a bold white letter, right here. It would stand out more, and make it really
Mhm.
catchy. So then I could work with the
Yeah.
geometry of the page. So that could
Right.
be nice, yeah.
Yeah, because by looking at it, I'm more focused to the image.
Exactly. How about something like this?
True.
It's like a personal sketch.
It's nice.
Nice.
It's not
Yeah.
bad, I mean, it's simple, right? So
Yeah.
it's simple,
Yeah.
it has a little something personal, about the portfolio. So
Yeah.
And the personal thing, maybe that's all it takes to make it yours different than than the rest, and someone's gonna pick it up and look at it. So that's not really bad. I think it's nice, yeah. This again, another problem with names is that I don't know what it says here, right?
It's hard to read.
Can you guys make it out?
No, I can't.
But it was like Cali Dalton portfolio.
Something like that, yeah. Kathy, Callie, Dalt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't read script.
Yes. So yeah, it's annoying, yes. How about this one here?
Yeah, I also like this one.
Me
I
too,
think,
yes.
yeah, it's
So
really
what do you
simple.
like about this one here?
I think in general, just portfolios that have like a little design in the background where it's kind
Yeah.
of faded out with the huge color distinction to me just serves the purpose of simple and also getting
Okay.
the point across.
And most of them, most of them are kind of black and white, right? Everything here is black and white. This is the first one that has actually some color, right?
Yeah.
So color here, even though, in your main portfolio, the main pages, the only color should be your work, right? But because this is a cover page, right? To let's say a book, then you could use color here because it makes it distinct, it makes it pop, right? It makes it different than everything else. So this is probably your chance to make the cover page a bit more, if you wanted to, you could add color, to make it different than everything else. And I think these colors work well together. This kind of yellow with this kind of a gray or it's a mix of gray and brown, I think. But it has something very personal to it. It has, her name, right? Lauren, design portfolio, Purdue University, and some type of sketch there, right? So I think
Background.
it's simple.
The yellow stands out.
Yes. How about this one here?
Oh,
But
No.
again, something else, right? You see on top, industrial design.
Oh. Is that just like a whole different type of thing?
Yeah, it's industrial design. You're looking more at mechanics.
Cars.
How things go together. Maybe more robotics and those things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. So
It's different, yeah. So yeah, so it's
Yeah.
and you can see how when you change, let's say could we have architecture, interior design, industrial design, right? They do change, and kind of they do showcase kind of the profession, right? In some sense, this is extremely architectural. Why?
Because of the line.
The lines, right? So imagine when you're making lines and you have guidelines, right? This goes back to hand drawings, right? And then small thing, aligns, right? The O here aligns with the O here for Ahmed, right? So it's so do you guys like this one or no?
Yeah, it kind of looks like dimensions, like he was trying to
It looks like
showcase
dimension,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
that's true, yes. Okay, let's see here. And this is one that is more specific, right? So like I was saying, sometimes when you apply for a job, right? If you know exactly what you're applying for, right? Then the portfolio is going to adapt to that job. So in this case, if you look at this portfolio, Bill Kipler, right? Associate AIA, massive, his more expertise. And you see here, what do you see? Revit, Maya, Rhino, Ecotech, AutoCAD. Gee, so what do you think he's applying for?
I would say like a job that requires all of those, so he can't
So
just list
something
them.
more technical, right? So technical
Yeah.
of architecture, right?
She's telling her.
Emacs, right? Cprint. These are all programs to visualize.
Telling the skills that that person has.
Yes, exactly. Again, this one again is a portfolio here, right? Davina, right?
Yeah.
Never give your again home address, right? Just
No.
you can say you live in this state or city. You can
Wow,
give your
yeah.
phone number. You can give your emails, but don't give your home address.
Address. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really like this portfolio.
Yeah, I mean,
like her.
this is
The images she put in.
yeah, the red's cool. I think stands out.
Yeah.
I would have made this a little bigger portfolio. It's a little bit small, I think.
Yeah,
Make it stand out more, but yeah.
it's great.
How about this one here? Bright green, yes.
That way hurts my eyes.
So the works of Angel at Severo, branding, identity, print package. Okay, so
Yeah,
this is more like
lime green is not working.
yes, exactly, yeah. But again,
No.
it's nothing wrong with having this color, right? If it's gonna make it
Yeah.
pop, because again, like I said, what is the most common portfolio cover page?
Black and white.
Yeah. In most cases, it's simply a plastic, a black piece of plastic, that's that what you get for free. So most are
Yeah.
just, that's all. Imagine everything's black and then this page is green or yellow like this, it's going to stand out, right? So it's going to make you curious to look at the next pages here.
Yes.
And this one here is, again, it's only working with letters, there's no designs, but just working with scale. So what do you think? Something like this. The architectural design work of Adam Wagonier, Kansas State University.
Pretty simple. Like it just tells you who the person is and that they're like an architect.
But
It's
maybe, yeah,
simple and
simple, but it's still
straightforward.
organized, right? In some sense with the
Yeah.
the hierarchy. And there's some order to that. So I mean, I think it's simple. I think again, something like this depends on your name, right? It's really to work, right? Because as you make things bigger, in this case, this empty space here makes sense. If your name was longer, it wouldn't work out, and you got to try different, layout here. But in this case, it works pretty good, And then we have something like this. What do you think of something like that?
It's like a preview. Wait, is this for like a cover page or like a table of contents?
No, this is for a cover page, yes, that I got, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not sure then. Because I
But
thought
this is something for like, again, would this be
For a job.
architecture work or something else?
Oh, this interior design.
Something else.
Yes. So again, we have color patterns, we have furniture. So we have like a logo here, right? Stephanie and Sarah's SAS, right? So the logo that you guys made before should be part of the portfolio, should be part of your cover page for this class. So think about, that you're gonna have a page that has your name, it'll say portfolio, it'll have your logo somewhere, right? And it will also have architectural. So those things are part of the whole kind of design here. All right, so once you have, let's say the cover page, right? The next thing that we have is the table of contents, right? It's gonna tell you exactly how many projects you have, right? And it doesn't have to be done in a boring way, where you can say page 1 is this project, page 2 of this project, you could make it bigger, right? And you can make it more, because this is not meant to be a table of contents for a book, right? Everything that we do has some design aesthetics to it, we can make it more interesting. So we have the portfolio contents, right? And so think about the portfolio like this, the first page that we have in the portfolio, right? That's the cover page, right? So that is the only page in the portfolio that you're going to see by itself, right? Once you open the page, right, what do you have? Left page and right page, right? So we have a book now. We open the book, we have this page. So these two pages here are gonna be the table of contents, right? You can choose, you want to put it all on one page, let's say here, like this, right? Or you might say, no, I'm gonna have this gonna go across from here, and maybe something's gonna happen here. It's gonna say project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4, project 5 here. You can make it into a cool design, that goes around, because and it could be, also instead of saying table of contents, you can also say content, right? Or contents, to make it simpler, to make it more, let's say, modern. So you can choose all those aesthetics for the cover page. Sorry, for the table of contents, excuse me. So for example, here, if we look at a sample or something like this, like here, we have, a really big one, right? One setting the scene, a few other details here. And then once it gets spread out, the same idea to other. So let's say this is your portfolio book, right? And you're only showing 5 projects, right? The nice thing here is that you open the book and right away you can tell there's 1 through 5, right? And there's some idea of hierarchy, right? We have content here, right? O1, O2, and numbers in for us, always look better as O, right? So not just 1, 2, 3, 4, that's boring. We always do 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. It looks more interesting, right? It's more, I don't know, more aesthetically pleasing. And then we have, project 1, you might give it a title, and you're showing this. Project 2, design 4, rendering, plan, elevation, and it's going, across For our class, I believe we're gonna have roughly about 10 projects. But we can make it now in a way that is free. So we can always edit it later. Right now we're looking more at the design, right? And later we can add or take away projects as we go here. But what do you guys think of something like this for a layout?
Like just the text?
Just at least for like a table of contents, yes, to showcase all the work throughout the semester.
Yeah, it gets the purpose done. Maybe like small preview images, possibly.
That also could be done, yes. You could definitely show small preview images, yes.
Yeah.
You could do, I don't know, this is very blurry, but yeah, this is more like a vertical, format here, like this, So you have here, this is just one page layout, contents, artist Soho, and you can give, preview images here of what's to come. Again, it's not really bad, it depends. Sometimes, I prefer something like more simple like this. This is just, doesn't mean it's wrong or right. This to me gets sometimes a little bit distracting because unless you pick images that are fairly simple, because when you go here from very colorful to line drawing to an airplane to this, you're kind of jumping all over the place. So when you pick the images, maybe you make them all black and white, right? Or you make them all in a very simple, format. Same thing here, sometimes you can choose one kind of a background image, right? And everything goes on top. Again, 01. It's kind of confusing because they're combining here projects 05, 06. So it's a little odd there. But again, this gives you also a lot of freedom to design these things as you go. And once you pass, actually, before we go here, let me do one more thing here. If you're trying to get also inspired, for let's say the portfolio cover page and the portfolio table of contents, where can you look at for inspiration?
There's a lot of sites. There's one like I think it's called Behance. Sometimes even on Reddit, there's like people who've had multiple conversations on like
Yes.
questions for portfolios and they just have links of their stuff. And there's also Pinterest as well.
Yes. So I'm sure there's other ones. Yeah. Of course, Pinterest, works well for almost everything, right? Whether you're trying to get inspired, or you're searching for ideas, or sometimes clients tell you, I saw this here on Pinterest, what do you think? Can we do this like this? So it kind of shows, it should show kind of your interest, so
Yeah.
I do a lot of work in Japanese design, so there might be a lot of Japanese stuff here. I
Yeah.
also like the details, it might show up also here. What else? Some cars, so all this
Yeah.
stuff here. And if I do a quick search here for, let's say, if I put here architecture, portfolio,
Will do. Design.
table of contents, right? Like that.
Yeah.
We get a lot of stuff, so like here's one right there, right? Same idea. It's in Spanish, but doesn't matter, contents 01, 02. And this one actually I like because instead of using like a square, which is a very hard shape, by doing a circle, right? And they also made the images kind of more of a opaque, right?
Yeah.
Actually looks very nice, right? Very simple, very elegant. I can see there's 6 total projects. I get a nice preview of every project, right? There is some hierarchy with the letter. This is bold, that's not bold, right? And here says contents, right? So that's a nice looking, I think, table of contents. Right?
Concept.
Here's one like you mentioned just now, something like this, right? Where we have images. This the content across 1 through 7, and looks like a preview image of the project there, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Another one here, right? They put the number
Oh, I like that
with
one.
the image. That's a
Yeah.
nice one. Yes. It says here House of Culture, honor students. I can't see the modular design. So that's a nice layout. I kind of like how the number becomes part of the white space, and then we'll showcase.
Yeah.
Most of them actually only say contents. Table of contents, the whole thing is pretty, let's say, outdated, these days. So yes, and as you click here, you should get more and more samples for you to like here. We get one more here, or 1, or 2, or 3. Right. And again, in this case with a square image, right? A little bit of color with that, right? This is more, again, also not bad. It's more simple, right? You don't have to always show an image, right? It's still fairly clear, right? There's still some hierarchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Again, here with the O1, oops, come on, like this. So again, it's like a great space to even this is pretty cool. I like this one actually. I like the color here, the yellow, the gray, how this kind of blends together here. So being there's plenty of inspiration, right, that you guys can choose here, because it's always the smallest details kind of make a big difference, right? If I see a beautiful cover page, and then I see a beautiful table of contents, right? Then I already have very high hopes for the student, and I already expecting really good work. In my mind, I'm already kind of very positive. So that means that your work is going to look amazing, right? And that's always, the intention you're trying to achieve, when you're trying to showcase your portfolio, especially since you cannot be there physically most of the time to be able to talk about it, right? So that becomes fairly nice, same thing here with this one. So again, use this, as, use Pinterest, to get inspired, nice looking cover page here. Look at that. Maheen, right? The name, portfolio, right? Maybe the school name here. So we can do also here, architectural portfolio cover page, right?
Yeah.
And again, we're not cheating, right? We're getting inspired, right? So this is also a nice one here. Looks like a beautiful, maybe watercolor painting, right? Architecture portfolio, right? I'm not sure this is Nihal is the name, but okay. Also
Yeah.
fairly nice and simple, right?
Yes.
Portfolio, right? You just gotta add, your name, right?
Sketch.
So you see, like these things, stand out, I guess, even this here, right? If you saw this, it's simple. The blue, the white, you change from portfolio here to port and white, and it goes to black. Those are little details that really stand out, right? You might have a favorite project, here it is, portfolio, right? That's your project, right? But it's well centered, it makes sense how it's placed here. So it is, think about it as a book, right? So this book, and imagine is a book that you're trying to sell, right?
Yeah.
This really page needs to captivate the audience. It needs to attract them to really open up your book, and look at more detail. If it is, portfolio, this could be maybe a photograph that you took, right? Something that you were traveling and you saw a really cool detail becomes here, part of your portfolio. It stands out, as this, So these are all really nice things that you can use as ideas for the portfolio. That's also really nice. Make this little arches like this, And for our case, our portfolio is gonna be landscape, right? 8.5 by 11. That's the most typical format, and the one that everyone kind of expects to use. So we're gonna kind of follow that format as we go through here. Right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. All right, so then I'm gonna stop the lecture here because I do want to review the other things that we have in class, because the next thing you guys are gonna work on for the next class is you're gonna work on the cover page and the table of contents, right? For the portfolio, right? So that's
Yes.
what we're gonna review next class. And then after that, we start looking, at the actual portfolio content, what's inside, the work, but that'll be later on. For now, and this lecture will continue on later. Right now, I only went halfway with the portfolio, so that we don't get distracted with other topics in the class. But definitely, come here to Pinterest, get inspired. That's a really nice one here. Also, simple one. So again,
I
plenty
have
of
a
inspiration.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you're making a portfolio, would you suggest that we use like the vertical 8.5 by 11 sheet or the horizontal
No,
version?
let's all use landscape. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's use landscape. Another
Okay.
example here.
And then like even outside of school, would you still use landscape or
Yes, landscape
okay.
is the most common one and the ones that most people expect to see. Yes.
Okay.
Also,
Okay.
you see, this also will help later. Eventually, once we discuss, the other parts, then you can see here that, there are 6 pages here, right?
Yes.
Every page is different, right? If you look at
Yes.
the layout, right? Completely different layout each page, right? But if you see the whole thing together, right, it looks like it belongs to one person, right? Why?
Because of the images.
Images, okay, what else? Yes.
The color scheme.
The color scheme, yes, that's the key thing here. Yes, yes, the images, the color scheme, the font, right? So I've seen portfolios, where the student might use 5 or 6 different fonts, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Good thing.
Ideally, you want to just use one font, right?
Yeah.
Because the more fonts, the more weird it gets,
Oh, yeah.
So you want to be, you want to look like it belongs to one person. So when I see this page here and that page here, I recognize the same font, right? When I look at this
Yeah.
page here, this here, I recognize the same color tones, right? Or portfolio here is this size, same size, right? And what I see
Yes.
always is from page to page, the text gets bigger, gets smaller, they change for different text and nothing connects, right?
Yeah. You have to be
These 9
consistent.
pages, yes, are all different, right? But they all have the same color tones, the same style. So it seems like it belongs to one person. That's the key thing to keep. And eventually you can go here, check again, right? We have here a bunch of different layouts here. Not the most clear image, but and we can see how, even though they're different, they start to connect. What happened here? Okay. Oh, this is a good example here. So this is pretty much, an example of, I guess you can buy a portfolio bundle, right? You don't need to buy that because you guys can make this easily, right, in InDesign. But it gives you an idea, right, of page layouts, right? From the cover page, right? You see how they change things here, large images, small images there. That could also be used to define the portfolios. What do you guys think?
I like the layouts of it. It's like switches up and it's not just stagnant on having image, 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 then text.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good to have some empty space also, right? You don't want to overdo it, pack it, with this, but even like this, can also give you a hand, right? Because it gives you an idea of how much white space to leave, So this is okay. There's plenty of white space here. Gray is probably going to be images, renderings, diagrams. This is just text, titles, small text, right? And you see how, it creates, diversity here. And, this, in the past, this has become fairly, when I was going to school, obviously we didn't have this. So you kind of just experiment. Right now, you can kind of see and you can choose and pick what things you like to do here. All right. So I can make sure to use this as you guys go here. All right. So let's see, what time is it now? 3:50. The next part here is we're gonna discuss, those things that you guys submitted, the resume and cover letter. So let's take like a 10-minute break. I need to get a glass of water, and then we'll keep going. It's 3:50. Let's come back by 4 o'clock. All right, guys.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
All right, guys, let's continue here. Let me just let me get my Brightspace going here, and then we'll share that. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so it looks like I have 11 projects submitted today for the resume and cover letter. Again, don't forget, to go back, and we're still early enough in the semester that you guys can easily catch up, so like I only see 13 submitted to the professional footprint. So make sure that it's, you guys start to catch up, right? So you don't want to go in from 22 to 18 to 13 to 11 and have less things submitted every week. So yeah, just try to catch up. Okay, let's go to resume and cover letter. All right, let's start with Leslie. You here, Leslie?
Yeah.
So let's start with the let's start first with the resume, and then we'll do the cover letter. So let's look at this first here. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's go look at it here. Okay. So one thing I did say, is to make sure to also add your logo, right, from before, right?
Yeah, I
Maybe
forgot
somewhere
to
here?
add that.
Yeah.
I saw I remembered right
Yeah.
after I handed it in.
Okay. I mean, the one thing here that's kind of, I don't know, it's interesting, is you're kind of playing with this kind of light and dark, right?
Yeah, I kind
Um,
of because I didn't want to do blank because I felt like
yeah,
it's I wanted to do something different.
yeah,
I kind of I actually went on Pinterest and I saw some old inspiration collage boards that I have
yeah.
with light and shadows, and I like to do that a lot. So I thought that was interesting to play around with it. And then in I did this actually in Adobe Illustrator. I
Yeah.
brought it in and I would just play with the opacity in order so you would able to see the
Ah,
words.
okay. I mean, I think the idea of dark and shadows is cool. I always love working with shadows and light. Although I don't know how useful it is in the resume.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know either, but I just kind of
because
want to play with that.
like the scales are, might be hard to read, Imagine you print it out, it probably will be much darker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You made all
when
these
you print
bars
it
here
out.
that don't really make sense, So I think it's a cool idea I think that something like that could work for like a cover page of a portfolio, right?
Yeah.
But for here, I think it makes things difficult because you want to be able to see everything clearly, right?
Yeah, I
All
think I would
the
just need to
yes,
change the background to
maybe
something
yes,
else.
or maybe you emphasize, this kind of column over here, right? But again,
Mm-hmm.
put your logo here, and you want to make it look different, right? So pretty much, up here is one area, right? This is pretty much the top of the page, and you think you have like three parts, This is so maybe your logo goes over here, right? Somehow
Yeah.
you have this part here, which is the this kind of column here, make it go all the way down, right, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the idea is not to have all this empty space, right?
Yeah.
And the last one is everything here. So you have education, experience, right? Again, spelling is important. That's spelled wrong.
Oh my
Experience,
God. Yeah.
skills, and we can probably put a few more other things here, right?
Yeah.
Skills, awards, languages, fill up the whole page, right? That's the key thing, right? And don't forget that in the beginning here, before we put education, right, is when you give a couple lines about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good because it's in it's a start. So you have first a few lines about yourself, then education, then experience, then skills, and then if you have awards or languages, that will all be added there. Yes, I know you have it here, and it's kind of a little bit broken up. Yes, I would say because here they're kind of lost. It's hard to see them there. So I would
Yeah.
say better make them on the under the right side here. And
Okay.
I do like the idea of the light and shadow. I don't think it plays well
Yeah. I
a
thought of that
resume.
after I did it, but
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. It's kind of hard to read.
Any other comments on her resume? Again, as a class, we can give
Yeah.
more feedback.
Yeah.
All right, so let me look at the other one now. Okay, let's see. Oops, let me close this. All right, let me look at the other one. It's here, cover letter.
I don't see it, Professor.
No, let me try again. Okay, let's try again.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, I think here works even less because in a way, highlights just this here to create
Yeah, you're not able
compelling
to see that
visuals.
specific
Yeah.
paragraph. Yeah.
So again, do the same thing, do the top portion, right? Make it as one thing because it's gonna have your name, right? This can be smaller, right? It'll have their, phone number,
Mm-hmm.
logo. Make it its own kind of captivating element on the top, and then from there,
Mm-hmm.
you move down, right? Those things. Also, when you make the text, stick to a typical size, So I would say I wouldn't go more than 12 for the font.
Okay.
Keep that because it still has to be a professional letter, so don't make it more than it needs to be, right? Otherwise, it just gets
Mm-hmm.
too big. It looks oversized. Yes.
Okay.
So see if you can make those corrections here.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Leslie. All right, let's go to Jennifer. Okay. Let's look first. Okay, let's start here, I guess. We have this first here. All right, so we have the logo here, studio. Phone number, email, Brooklyn, name stands out nicely. The one thing you see here, you have this line over here.
Mm-hmm.
Give the text some breathing space, right? The text is right up against the line, right? Give it like a quarter inch, right? Otherwise, it gets it's hard to read, the text.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay. But I mean, that's, yeah, good. You have Dear Abby, you have a name, okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Sincerely. Good. Okay. Yes, you captured that, so overall from, if I step back here, it looks like a very simple, elegant letter. So I think it works nicely. Yeah. Just give it some, so I would say align the text with the J here, right? So wherever this is here,
Mhm.
to define for that. And if you make it more personal, you can always, just sign, your signature, right? Scan it and then kind of drop it here. It will look more professional.
Okay.
What do you guys think of this one here, of the sign?
I mean, I also have a question.
Sure.
I think I was looking at the examples, and on the left side, well, you see where my logo is on the bottom. I think it's too blank compared to like the examples that you provided for us.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I didn't know what else to put.
Oh, you mean in this one here?
Yeah, on the bottom of studios, like there, like the empty space. No, on the bottom.
Here, yes.
Yeah, that big space. Yeah.
Well, yes, in this case, because, so in your case, you could keep this, if it's gonna align here. So you see it aligns here with the next one, right? Which makes sense.
Mhm. Mhm.
And here, I think there's nothing wrong with it, here. The main thing is that because it's so close to it, it looks like a mistake, right? So what you could do here, if you want, the line is still there. So you can say, okay, in this letter, I'm gonna take out this line, right? Just, take it out. Or I want to keep it because aesthetically it's gonna connect to the other one here, right? In that case, just give it a little space here. So the A aligns with the J here, right? Then it makes more sense, right? So whether you have it or take it out, I think both ways they work nicely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then here, I think you also the same thing, right? Let's see here. It's a little different. You see here how you added, the Jennifer Garcia architecture student. That could also be here. And you
Mhm.
added the QR code, right? Which is not here, right? So you want it to be both identical, right?
Okay. So should I, because I thought resume would be better for the QR code would be better for the resume. That's why I didn't put it on the other one so they could look.
It could be,
it
yeah,
could-
but again, imagine that, they lose the resume and that all they have left is your cover page, right? You want to be able to have all the data there that they can still access your information if they need to, right? That's
Mhm.
kind of the thinking here behind it, yes.
Mhm.
But I mean, this looks good, I think it's simpler. The name is clear, the QR code is clear, logo's clear. There's still plenty of white space, right?
Mhm.
Then we have here education, experience, okay. Extracurricular, okay, president of the club, okay, good. Skills. And then you move here, languages, because make sure everything aligns. See, it doesn't align with the education.
Okay. Mhm.
The only thing is, if you're gonna leave all this blank space here, that's the only thing that's, it's what do you
Yeah,
guys
that's
think?
what I meant. Yeah.
Any advice from the class? Well, I think we could take, this languages here and just put it over here because we have especially so put here, languages right here,
Mhm.
and then you put here Spanish and English, right? Like that.
Okay.
So align with the skills here. So you put this align skills,
Mhm.
lines there, and that will free up that space there. So then you keep the same format, you see here also this space from here to here,
Mhm.
the same spacing for the upper one there. And I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Thank you.
What do you guys think as a class? Come on, guys, don't be afraid to give some advice or critique each other.
Yeah. So the only critique I would say is the resume, the cover letter, it's too close to the line.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So yes, that's a
But
small thing, but otherwise, I
yeah,
think it's nice. Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, like here, yes,
Yeah.
too close to the line. Yes.
Really
Okay.
well organized.
Question. Yeah, I have another question. Sorry.
Sure.
Do you think I should keep the same format, like on the bottom, how I added the color, integrated on the top
Yes,
one?
I like the color here. Yes, this part here. Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'll
I just
definitely.
didn't want to do too much. Yeah.
No, I think that's good. Yeah. You see here how you put also the line here. I think this is good. Yes.
Mhm.
So if you put the line here with the color here, I think that will help to
That's
separate
good.
the top from the bottom more.
Yeah,
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. No problem. Thank you.
you did a good job.
Thank you.
Again, you guys can always, any comments, please go back, afterwards and whenever you can, try to go back and update your this stuff here. All right, let's go to Riley.
Professor, were you able to see my messages?
I haven't checked the texts. No, let me check right now. Let's see. 1 second. When did you send me? Okay, I see it. Okay, that's fine. Yes, so I am recording, so in case, just catch up later with this.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so then should I come back for you later then, Riley? Or should I just critique it and then it'll be in the video? Okay, so let me just I'll just since we're here, so this is here. Let's see. So it looks really nice, very, very professional. So as a first impression, really, really professional looking resume here. I like how the design of the logo is integrated into the actual space, right? There's some color, which is nice. Riley is clear. Same thing that he's a student, right? Then we have profile, like I said, the profiles give a few things about yourself, right? Because right now we have not too much to say. I haven't seen that, so don't forget to add this for everyone in class, right? That's clear here. Name, email, location, and then here, experience. Okay, the one thing here is make sure the experience, that's your hierarchy. So if it starts here, then I will move these things to the right? So let us start afterwards so we can establish a hierarchy of experience and then the things that come below that. So we have experience 1. Okay, we go down here, then we go to education, then set this back to the right a little bit more, right? Then skills, move right. So we have all the skills here. Yeah, what do you guys think? O'Reilly here.
I would agree. Like, it definitely does look professional, and I do like it a lot. Like, just the colors.
Yeah. And sometimes, just by a first glance, you can see if it feels busy, right? Or it feels empty, right? Or it feels organized. You can kind of catch it, in the first few seconds, of how the overall letter is composed, right? And it looks very, something that is easy to read, because sometimes some things are hard to read because either they pick the wrong font, or it's too bold, or the color is strange, or everything's too tight. But here, it seems like it's everything's shown, I think, clear. I would say my only things that I think I could fix is make sure that if this starts here, have the intern start a little bit to the inside, so we establish this is the title. The next things are like this, right? Next title, things are a little bit on the inside here, so we establish the hierarchy as we present stuff in the. But I really like how this looks. Definitely a professional looking heading here for the or banner for the space. Okay. Let's look at the next one here. Resume cover letter. Okay. What do you guys? So let me get your impression first. See if you have in the same thinking the same thing. What do you guys think of this one here?
It's like really professional. I actually like it a lot.
How do you feel with the font?
It feels a bit too
Uh-oh.
spaced out.
A bit
Yeah.
small.
Like this one here.
Yeah, it's too small to read.
Do you feel that it's because some fonts are easy to read, some of them are hard to read.
Yeah,
I
this one's
think
hard.
This is
Um,
a little hard to read. I don't know why.
I think it's because there's like too much space in between all the letters.
Too much space between all the letters. So this is So imagine like when you try to read, everything is uppercase, right? It's not the same
Yeah.
as reading uppercase. Oh my God, I can't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
lowercase, right? So uppercase, lowercase. Yeah, there we go.
That
This
would
one,
look better.
yeah,
Yeah, it would
There's-
look better if you double space.
yeah, but right now here, I think that this font has too much space between every letter, right? So it looks like this font could be good for like a title, right? But for a paragraph, I would say it's not good. Yes, like for
Yeah.
this is fine. This is fine here. I would say I do like the style of the font. Very simple. But I would do one that
Yeah.
is not so much spacing. So I don't know if you can check that out. Otherwise, everything looks really nice. So
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, simple comment there.
It's great.
So Riley Mohammed. Okay. All right. So Mohammed, what happened on top here? Mohammed, you there? Let me check my chat. Am I missing something here?
No, wait. Who got his logo?
Yeah, yeah. So again, yeah. So Mohammed, so I'm not sure if you're now in the class or you stepped out, but yeah, the logo's missing here.
Yeah.
Definitely more details. This looks like it's in progress. Remember that it should be only one page. So either make this top portion a little bit smaller, right? There's still plenty of white space over here, right? These things
Yeah.
will be pushed upward here. But the idea is keep everything to just one page. Okay, so a bit of reformatting here. Make sure that it's let's see. Yeah, because
The-
right now Mohammed here, right? So pretty much almost 1/3 of the page, it's your it's
Right.
kind of banner here. So it's taking up way too much space, right?
Yeah.
So make this smaller, right? Compress some of this is also too long, right? Remember that should be a couple lines, right? This is why you have the cover letter to explain about yourself. Here it should be 1 or 2 lines at the most, right? So I would say cut this in maybe 1/3. Then it'll give you space to move this up and keep everything in one page. So see if you can take those
Yeah.
that advice.
Also,
Yeah.
it still says Masters of Architecture. I
Yes,
remember that was a problem last time.
exactly. Yeah. So make sure that everything should say here architectural student, right? And keep it, in this case,
Yeah.
keep it realistic, to whatever is your current level
Fine.
here. So
Yeah.
hobbies. So these are good. Reading, sports, design. But again, you don't have to give it all the same spacing, reading, sports, design, give it more space in there. Again, make sure this is realistic. This is School of Construction Authority, SCA, skills, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Oh, fancy. You forgot. Whoa, the cover letter.
Yes, and let's look at the cover letter here. Let's see here, Mohammed and Brian, cover letter here. Okay. So, I mean, as a cover letter, again, first of all, it's long, right? So it should be one page, right? So definitely we want to
Yeah.
cut it by at least half. And don't forget that we want to have also the same
Format.
banner here as before with your logo, right? The details,
Selfie.
follow that, yes. But this is done. This is professional hiring manager, address, phone number, email, and then this, I think you can move this up one more line here. And this is just too long. So, make it one page. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can take those things and just, make the update and again, resubmit it again to this assignment here.
Professor,
Yes.
for mine, I want to ask if you could open up the PNG version because I was having trouble with like the file for the PDFs.
For, let's see.
Christopher, that was Christopher, sorry.
Yeah. So, yes.
Yeah.
Finish Mohammed. Okay. So PDF versions, PNG.
Yeah, the PDF versions were having problems. So like the PNG ones at the two at the top are the right ones.
Okay. So these two. Okay. So, all right,
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that one.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing here, the first thing that sticks out to me is I do like the logo. You went something more like vertical, right? You didn't go across here, which is something different. Okay. This is just, the font here is so big, right? It overpowers everything on the right side here. Like the
Has to
email,
be
right?
smaller.
Address, phone number. It's really big. This could be a lot
Yeah.
smaller than this, right? So
Okay.
I would say make those things smaller, right? I don't know this line. I don't know if we need this line here because we have it here. I would say try one where you have the everything's horizontal, right? It seems to fit better in this case because otherwise you're gonna get here so much empty space, right? So much empty space here, right?
Yeah.
That if you just create it like this, where you have, let's say, the top portion of your letter, and here you put, let's say you put your logo here. That you have like that, when you design like this, then you can put here, your name here, Christopher, right? Johnson, architecture student. Then you put here, contact, phone number, email, right? Everything fits there, right? Then you can go here. This becomes a nice kind of it almost frames the page. So this becomes the top, and then here you put you're gonna put date, right? Then you have the address of the firm you're applying to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have dear to whom it may concern or person. Then you have your text, into, it was 4 kind of paragraphs like this, and then you sign here, your signature, and you're done, right? And it keeps everything very
Yeah.
nice and professional, and it's
Okay.
not following a certain format. I think that would be a lot better.
Got it. Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, no problem. Let's see. All right, let's look at the other one. This was the. So it was this one, right? Resume?
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay. I like the colors, it kind of it matches everything here.
Yeah, I try to like use the same color from the
Yeah.
logo.
Although it gets a little, confusing because of you don't want to establish, like a start. So, if we just define like the other one, right? We have the same idea here, right? Follow the exact same design as the, but you have the logo, name, whatever you design, do the same thing for both pages, right?
Okay.
Then it makes sense to have, one side like this, right? Cross. And also, you don't have to leave this white space here, right? Because this could be a full bleed, because you're not making this is not going to be a poster. It's meant to be printed out. So it's okay to have this thing having, because otherwise you're kind of losing a lot of space by having like a border around the whole thing, right?
Yeah, when I did it on Photoshop though,
Yeah.
it actually fit into the border. So like for
Okay.
both sheets, it was 8.5.
Okay. So maybe it's just here, right? In white space.
Yeah, yeah, even with the top too, like the gray actually goes up to the
Got it.
border.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that happened to me also last semester. Bright space tends to give everything a almost like a white space behind it.
Oh,
All right, so this is good. We have the same thing here, right? This would be the top. That will move all the contact stuff. This thing, passion for this actually could be here. I think that could be nice here. You can define this here, since you have more space here.
okay.
And here again, you want to put educational can be here, education, city tag, whatever you might have, experience would be next, whatever you might have there, skills, languages, whatever other things you can fit here. I think will all be in this side here.
Okay. Wait, so
But I
on the
think-
left, what
yeah.
would you get? Yeah, on
On
the
the left side,
can
I
you-
would just put the this over here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that because then it kind of and if you want, you can design it so that you have let's see here. See, this is the one we had before, but if we do it like this, where your name is here, right, in big, Christopher
Yeah.
right over here, and below Christopher is gonna be this right here. So you can
Okay.
see your name, then you can read about yourself, right? The logo will be on this side here with all the other details, and then education, work experience, all that's coming kind of down through here.
Mm.
Yes, I think that
Okay.
would be and actually, I think the skills you can keep there also because
Oh, like in the
this
corner.
is more
Okay.
graphic, with these things here. I think you can keep it there. So it'll be this, and then below that the skills, and here just do this in, and if you need to, if you have too much white space, think about what else you could add here to to make it longer.
Yeah, maybe like a hobby section.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, skills is one thing. I mean, you can say, you can even make this bigger. You can say, city tag. You can give it the address. Expected to graduate this year. GPA this. And then you can. And if you're just out of high school, then you can also add if you want your high school, right? And then work. Yeah, you have 1, 2 here, maybe here. What else can we add here?
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
when making these, should you like make them to what the firm is primarily looking for? It's like it's just different for each firm, right?
Not really so much. The one that really what really would change is the portfolio, right? That you adapt to every firm. This document's really this one's pretty much the same, but the one that might change is the cover letter because that's where the
Oh,
writing would
okay.
change because you want to kind of address what the firm does. You want to tell that your skills can improve the firm. So for this layout, it could be the same for any firm, yeah, because this is just data, right?
Okay.
Okay, but otherwise,
Yeah.
I think it's a very good start with this. I like it a lot. So just kind of fine tune those little details there that you have.
Got it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, let's see. All right, Chris. We saw everybody back here. Julia, Riley, we saw Mohammed, Chris. Okay, Julia. Yeah, class today went by fast. All right, so how come how about you guys start first? So let's have you guys critique Julia's cover letter. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes.
Yeah, so what I think of her cover letter, I think it's really simple and organized.
Okay.
I like how she puts her logo. Everything is clear. The text is I could read the text,
Okay.
and her name is nice and bold, and you could see her information.
Okay.
To him, it may concern maybe like finding the actual person if it's a small firm or
Yes.
a bigger firm, just put the firm name and like hiring team.
True, yes, yeah. So that's probably the hardest thing is finding a person, right? So
Yeah.
that's very true, yes. I mean, overall, I think it's a simple letter, right? The logo is part of the design, right? The which makes sense, right? She's got here her details, right? Date. Also, you also want to give here the address of the firm, right? Right. So not so much important. So this is your information, which sometimes you want to keep it all in the same kind of banner, right?
Yeah.
So date is fine. Then you put the company's name, right? Let's say KPF. And you
The
put
address.
the address, yes, exactly. And then you go on to the rest, right? The writing looks great. I think the font is clear. Makes sense.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, let's look at the and here you can put like a signature. So okay. This one is a bit messy, I would say, Julia. It's messy because I can't focus on the categories. It all seems to be one thing, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't tell, where education starts,
Mhm.
experience starts. It's all kind of blends
Messy.
together. Yes. So
Has to be
how would you make
separate.
this better?
Yeah, more organized.
Yeah.
I would say probably make like the headings more like the font bigger size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Professor, I was gonna ask about color.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like I'm not sure if it would fit in, but maybe just like a little color difference. Because I'm not sure if it ties back to like the black and white portfolio thing you was talking
Yeah.
about, but
Okay.
yeah.
It could be,
Adding
yes. I mean,
color.
yeah. I mean, right now, the main thing, let's see. So, I mean, you want, first of all, with anything you guys do, something's gonna catch the eye, right? So, and your
Yeah.
chance to, it's kind of the first impression, right? So, this banner here, that's your first impression. That's where you're gonna see Julia, right? That's her name. You're gonna see her logo. You're gonna see some of her details. So, this is the part where you could use maybe a little bit of color or gray or tones, right, to define, where do I start? Otherwise, you kind of just your eyes kind of like this and going here. You don't know where to go. But
Yeah.
if
The
I see a
logo
banner,
place.
yes, if I see a banner, I know I start here, right? And I move
Yeah.
down to look at the stuff. So let's say this banner here, okay? This logo, I like the logo, but I will make it bigger. And you have one
Bigger,
line
yeah.
here. So let's say this is a straight line that you have in your logo like this. It goes like this, something like that.
Yeah.
And
That's
then okay.
stand out.
And then this line here, this line could be helpful because this line here, maybe afterward you decide, okay, I'm gonna extend this line here somehow. I don't know. It follows through here. Something, let's say. Then that line, almost like the logo, is extending past the line here to extend something. And then here you want to establish, so let's say education should be in caps, right? That education, right? And then the bullet point should be offset to the right, so you can tell that is one category, right? Then again, experience in
Yes.
caps, then offset it to the right. So we have, categories, all these things you have over here, right? Then you have
Skills.
skills, right? And the skills is twice here. So define a different name for this. So skills and what is the other one?
Hobbies.
This will be languages, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was by accident.
Okay. Professional membership, yeah, that's all good things, yes. So yeah, just a bit, I don't know. What do you think of the formatting, what I'm doing here? And then over here will be kind of Julia in big, right? And then the other details, phone number, email, and that's it, yeah. And of course, once you design this layout here, it should be identical to the other one up there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Julia? Again, if you don't agree, please, please let me know. You don't have to agree to everything.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, like,
Yep.
do you think that it's necessary that you need to add color? Because I feel like
No.
sometimes adding color is like not professional.
You don't have to know. No, the color's not, as long as you define, the main thing is to define this top area as a starting point, right? So
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be done with color, right? It could be with line weights, different things.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yes, no problem.
Yeah. Sometimes color could be distracting.
Yes, like color is good for portfolio because that's expected, portfolio. For this page, most likely, someone's gonna print it out, from the email and give it to you, right? So, and they're gonna print it out in black and white, right? So,
Yeah.
if you spend all this time in color and then you print it in black and white and the color appears darker, it ruins the whole letter. So, just go.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because I know like most times everything's like black and white, so they
Yeah.
don't even really look at the color.
Exactly. Yes. So I
Okay.
think black and white's probably better for this. Yes.
Yeah, so just more so like with every like subtitle, just make it like caps, and
Yes.
then kind of create just maybe like some more like I guess detail to make it
The
clearer.
main thing is have like a hierarchy. So let's say this is your title here of this
Yeah.
part. The next one's gonna start over here, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a subcategory, then it starts over here, right? So
Yeah,
you
okay.
choose- And then you go
So
to
it's
the
just
next one
like
here again.
hierarchy.
Exactly, yes. That's the,
Okay.
once everything is straight here, then this
Yeah.
is why my eye was kind of lost to see where to start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. No problem. All right, good.
Other than that, good job.
Yeah, very nice. All right, let's go here.
Let's go to my professor.
Okay, Alex, okay.
Yeah.
All right, no, okay, I'm gonna have to hurry up. I'm taking too long today. All right. Come on. Okay, you have a PDF? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is my cover letter, professor. So I added my
Your
name.
LinkedIn? Okay. LinkedIn.
Yeah,
also
my
works.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
The firm I want to provide the address. I simply said hiring manager, and I wrote my statement.
Make sure here, the one thing here, if I look at the top here, right? So the logo here you have is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I will use these little icons here, right? Because
Okay.
they start to compete against your logo, right? It gets too much stuff happening, right?
Right.
So I think the logo is pretty cool here. In your case, because the logo has this kind of shape, looks like an A, right? You
Yeah.
might even move the Alexander closer to the logo here, right? So
Okay.
it makes sense that it's part of the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, yeah. So if I guess if you get it as an email, you can click here, right? Which is good, yes. This is good. Yeah. You have date, address. Here, there should be a space between paragraphs. So from here, make a space, right? Space
Right.
here.
Okay.
Then something. See, here should be another space over here, right?
Okay.
Between professional, sincere, and then try to make like a signature, right?
Okay.
So in your case, I
Got
think for the logo here, because you have a logo kind of looks like this. We have the
A.
A and also like the M, right? Something like that. And it goes
Yes.
something like that. But
Like
if you
that.
do the logo and then afterwards, right next to here, you start with the I don't know, with your name, right? Maybe around here you put Alexander, here, going across like this, right? From the
Right.
and then you follow that with a smaller font. This is a bit too big here. And then below here you put, Brooklyn, phone number and email, right?
Okay.
And then, I would do like maybe one line here to separate top and bottom like this.
Mhm.
Then the whole thing becomes like an organized. Right now, the problem here is that it's logo here, icon here, something happening here, something happening here. It's kind of all like scattered, right? You want to get
Right.
everything organized
Okay.
in one system. Yes.
Okay. Right.
This is good here. Just you need a space right here, a space right here, right? And yeah. All right, so that's pretty good for that one. Let's see here, the other one.
The other one is my resume.
Okay.
So
So
you
again,
scroll
this part
down.
you can do
Yeah.
the same, right, as before.
Mhm.
Okay. And right now, there's something competing here for attention because again, the way you show things from the top to bottom, it should be in order of importance, right? So as we said, right now we don't have much to show. So the first thing we show here is the profile, right? And a few lines about yourself, remember that we discussed that. Then we go to education, right? Then we
Yes.
have education here, right? Then we go to work experience, right? Then we have this, right? Then we go to skills, right? We have all the skills over here, right? And because right now you have this, right? And language in the same level, right? So they kind of they shouldn't be the same, you know. Language should be more towards the bottom, education should be more towards the top, right? And you still have a lot of
Okay.
space here, so I think you might be able to squeeze everything in just one line here, right? And like before, you see how also education is further inward than New York City College of
Yeah.
Technology. It should be like I told Julia, right? Education here, then space, and then the details about the school, right? So we establish a strong hierarchy, and your eye can start to focus on, you know, different categories easily.
Okay.
Also, make
Got
sure this font here looks much bigger than this font over here. So just double check your fonts, right? Because some of them look bigger than the other ones. Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of good things here, so just, you know, go back, you know, and try to a little bit, you know, organize it better, so it's not so scattered around.
Okay.
And I think this could be a lot better. Yes, I think you can do you know, like I did before in the sketch, you know, see if you can do a better layout for that also.
Okay.
All right. All right. Cool. Thank you, Alexander.
Do your best.
Again, this is like a little. These are like small design projects, so it's always, you know, we can always try to improve them. Okay. So so Alexander, Albert, I'll go a little bit faster here. Okay. Nice. I think it's different lab. I haven't seen this lab before, but it's clear. You know, the name is clear, which is great. You know, the logo and QR code are clear. And I think it's organized, you know, it's not a banner, but I think it's almost like an L shape, you know, like this, right? You're working with an L shape, right? Then we have let's see, education, skills, experience. This is a little long, right? But again, if we don't have that much to show in the beginning because we're students, it could be a little longer, right? And then afterwards it can be made smaller. What do you guys think of this one this here? Just your first impression of the layout. Anything?
I think he organized it pretty well.
Yeah, okay. Does everything read properly for you guys? You know, what do you think of here, this being bold? Should it be bold or should it be, because this is actually also not black. This is more like a gray, right? Light gray, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you guys feel with this being bold? Do you think it's good or should it be just regular tone?
I think
I
it should be
think it should be
just
regular.
Okay.
just because it's a statement, so and then they'll just probably skim through that,
Yes.
and probably his experience and like his important information, it should be bold, since like
Yes.
his email and the phone number
Exactly.
and LinkedIn.
Yes.
And
So like
yeah.
you said, you know, perfect. Yeah. So objective should be bold, right? This should be just regular. And things like contact, education, skills, that should be bold. The only concern here is because it's kind of this light color here. I don't know if this is like a pink color, but when you print this color out, right? If somebody goes to print your page, this is gonna come out as a very, very light gray, almost invisible, right? So things like this, you know, in that case, it's probably better not to use color and just keep it as black and white, I would say. But as for this part here, I think this is really cool. I think it fits very well, so it's a very nice design for this. Albert?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, let me look also the other one here. Let's see. Okay. All right, so here, this part I think is good here. Here is hard to read. Why do you think it's hard to read? Let me ask the class.
Long.
It's
Too long and it's
long.
not
It
broken
feels
down.
longer because, you know, you squeeze it to, let's say, one column, right? Because you took up this space for that, right? So if you're gonna make it like this, then first of all, it looks like one continuous paragraph, right? So you have to establish those 4 different, you know, categories, and you want to see a clear visual break between each one. And because you're limiting yourself to just this writing, is gonna feel longer. So either you make it smaller, right? Because right now, if I saw this, it looks messy because if you look at the edge here, you know, the whole edge here is gonna zigzagging back and forth like this, right? So the layout's not bad. I would say, you know, go through it one more time. It's a little long, make it smaller, and define that, you know, make a space between each paragraph. So you can see kind of white space between each thing. And then once you break it up, you know, it becomes less difficult to read because it's less, you know, long. See if you can try that, Albert.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you. Good. All right, Michelle. Looks like more people submitted stuff, right? Okay, let's look at Michelle here. So, okay, so we have a color. It's not bad. This is going to print out like a light gray. It's just like a beige color. Michelle is good. It's bold. Logos there. Contact details are here. So this is good. Yeah, this is one way to do the letter. You put the letter details on the left side. Date, to who, right? And from Michelle. Okay. And then we have dear. 4 different categories here. Good. And what's the meaning between these little circles here? Is there anything behind the significance?
I just want to try to separate different things like contact information.
Okay. Also, you can make it so it aligns to each category. So let's say you have one here by I am, right? One by currently, one by beyond, and one by I would. So it kind of gives you kind of bullet points to read your letter, which also could be a nice way to make it simple to read for the audience.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So good is here. Okay. And here's gonna go your picture.
Yes.
Are you gonna add it?
I
You
don't
can
have,
see how it looks with the whole.
I'm
This
not having enough time to make a professional picture.
Okay, it should be like
Okay.
no, these should kind of match, right? So maybe for now, in that case, maybe for now, then put your logo here, right?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we have here. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff here. Right? Typically, this should be small, but if I see more stuff here, it means that you probably have less stuff to show here, right? So we have here work. So education. Okay. We have New York City high school. So it should be education, right? Then experience over here, right?
Okay.
And this should be objective, right? So over here. So how you have here education, the same thing will be over here, objective, right? Work experience. It's a little, I like it, but it's a little bit messy. I think, these 3 things, right? The phone, address, and this should be part of this because you see how much space it's taking? This is taking up like 1/3 of the page. Just here, right?
Okay.
So I think these things here should move here somewhere, right? You have plenty of space to make it there, right? And then here you can have now education is gonna move up, right, over here. Then you have education, then work experience, and then put the rest going down here. That'll be a lot better.
Okay, Professor.
Perfect. Okay. And I think for yourself, try to print it out, in black and white, and see how it looks. I'm really not sure how this color is gonna look in black and white compared to this. I'm assuming this is gonna look like gray, but again, it could be wrong. It might print out even darker. So just give a little test and see how it looks.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna do twice, like in colors, black and white. Because
Yes.
in my opinion, I prefer using lightly colors
Okay.
than just simple black and white.
Okay. But just try it out. See how it looks. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. It's Michelle. All right, Joseph. Okay. That looks very professional. We got the logo here. Okay. Nice. This is nice to, see how Joseph did like a little, this kind of column, he gave it a little light gray. Again, it's super minimal touch, but it helps to establish, the left and right sides of the page, right? And I do like how you put here, the details for the, for himself, then skills, these are the things that are, they're important, but, I guess they're more like bullet points, right? Compared to everything on the right side, like profile, employment history, education, such things, I think this is the way it's organized is clear. See how everything's as aligned to the left side. I think it reads well. I think these things, if you wanted to, you can make the profile, employment history, those things could be bold, right? To
Okay.
get one step higher of hierarchy. That could be, I think, very nice for that, yes. And I do like these black lines here. Makes a good hierarchy to divide information. Yes, okay. This. So for this, that's interesting. So tell me why you kept the skills here in the
I think I just wanted to remind them of to make it easier because I've
Yes.
written it in the cover letter, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it looks good, being, again, I like the fact that the top portion is identical, right? So I recognize being the same student. So that's really nice, right? There's really nice alignments here, right? Cover
Yeah.
letter, you have the date, the hiring manager, the address, the years, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a nice space between every paragraph.
Yeah.
There's a nice space between the lines here. So it's very easy to read, It's not hard on the eye. So, and I think I like the fact that this part is kind of very light gray and this is white. So overall, I think great job on these 2 letters. I think very, very professional.
Thanks.
Yeah, nice job. Joseph, we're getting there. Justine, okay. Oh, interesting. Lots of information. All right, what do you guys think here? So Justine, okay, with the logo with the QR code, okay. Something about yourself, okay. So this part is all about you, okay. Then we have work experience. So why did you choose to put work experience ahead of education?
I actually have no clue. But now that you asked me that, I think education should go on top.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. Like I said, if you already have a lot of experience, and you've been working already for maybe many years, in the field, then maybe education is not as important because at that point you have a strong work, experience. And in a way, it looks like you do, right? You have architectural intern, right? Interior painter, again, intern. So you have already kind of a bit of experience, in the field or so. And again, education is only one thing, right? Right? City Tech, that's it, right? So in your case, because you have 3 different things here and they all relate to architecture, I think it's fine to have first experience and then education.
Okay.
Then we have skills, okay? Bullet points are good. Okay. So why do you choose? You see here, you have here Revit, right? And you have it again over here. Why show it twice?
Yeah, so I was really just thinking about that first bullet point. Maybe I should just delete that one since I already
Yeah, so
have
pretty much, yeah. So
yeah.
don't
Mhm.
repeat. I mean, I like how it's organized. Just don't repeat things twice. If it's there already, then don't show it down here. But
Okay.
overall, it's a nice, design. It's different. I think, but the main thing, is that does it read well? Can I tell the different hierarchies? Can I tell the different categories? And I can. I think they make sense. So I think overall is organized fairly well. This also, and you can have playing with this kind of again, this kind of gray color, right? So that it's not very strong. So it kind of just highlights parts of the letter. So in that case, the logo, right? And then the writing. So, and you, again, even though this is down here, you had it up here. I would say pick one. So if you're gonna put it up here, then also put it here in the same location, right? Don't just put it
Yeah,
somewhere.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
But this works, I think, nice. It's not too long. I think it's clear. So yeah, I think it's different. I like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you guys think? Is it organized to you guys or?
The only thing is that the top right box, the gray box, doesn't really align with the other box. I don't know. It's just
This one? The QR code?
no, the box like that surrounding the logo
Ah.
QR code, it doesn't really align with the skills box for some reason. It just
Yes, so that's like so you mean like this one here, right?
yeah, I don't know. It
Yes.
just bugs me a little bit. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, right now, because also this one doesn't align here. So these things look to be like more like 3 floating boxes. So if that's the idea, then it's fine. Otherwise, you can align here, you could align here, right? And keep everything, in the alignments here. But yeah, good catch with that, yes. All right, let's look at here. Almost there. Fatima, Paul, okay. All right, Paul. So this needs a little bit more work, see how there's so much white space here? That's the one thing that you don't want to have here. So see what you can do to gain more. So this part, I guess, is your logo name. Okay, that's fine. Then we have, this is the letter. So I think in your case, because you put in some stuff here and some here, it makes the letter appear more short, right? So I think it should be, like this, you have the top portion, which is we already have it there. You're going to have those details here. should be here, like date, right? Company name. Then you have 2 sort of architects, right? And then you go here to dear, then it gives you the letter, right? And then you finish with that, the signature here. That gives you now a complete letter, and now all this empty space is no longer there. Otherwise, it just looks empty, right?
So basically, like all the information will go above like the
Yes.
letter itself.
Exactly, yes. So if you check out, formats for professional letters, typically you have date, the name, and address of the person the letter's going to, right? Then it goes to dear, because you already have you already have your details here, right? So there's no need to repeat them again, right? So at the end, it'll be just date, name of the company or the person, their address, right? Then dear, right? And then start writing the rest.
Okay.
Yeah. And you have it as 1, 2, 3. So I mean, one thing with this, because this is a nice design here. This is an icon. I will say that, in this case, those icons don't really do much, right, for it. Kind of makes it more confusing, right? So
not necessary.
Yeah. Also, you could be more, if you want to be more creative, because this, reads like a P, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you can do that. You can do here the A, the O, right? And then make it part of the name, right? So then it becomes an actual design.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So think about those little details. I think they make a difference. Otherwise it's just one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. They're all kind of just separate. So if you try to make everything to one, it'll make it more organized.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Perfect. And the other one is down here. Okay.
Below,
Again, whatever you define here, you're gonna do the same thing on top here, right? Okay. So this one works a little better because this is more data, right? So, and like before, you have the left side here in the box, the data that is just kind of bullet points, right? And the right side, you have the information about you, right? Profile, education, and work experience right here. Here, let's see here. This part, might be better, to do software, right? And do a bigger gap here and use bullet points. That will make it more like a bit more professional in layout.
Okay.
So, and I would do, let's see, I would do software. Yes, I would do software first. Then next I would do skills, right? Awards, language, and last personal interests. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Perfect.
Yep.
And the same thing here. You see here how you have like here, like Cell of Architects, and everything starts aligned.
Yeah.
Always gonna offset the next one after the title, so it makes sense with the hierarchy.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you, Paul. All right. Sarah. Okay, so this is the resume, right? So
Yeah.
the resume doesn't, I mean, I do like the top portion here as your banner, but this reads more like a letter than a resume.
Mhm.
And you see how much white space is here, right?
Yeah, I was
So,
seeing from all the examples, I'm like, wait, I have a lot of white space. I
yeah,
need to
a
organize.
bit too much, it's
Yeah.
so with this, I think the main thing is to divide it into more of categories, right? So let's see if we have this over here. So so like here, okay, so you put here, let's say you're gonna put here a statement, will be there, right? That will eat up that space. Then below here, you're gonna write your statement, right, like this. And because you have less space, it's gonna feel a bit longer, right? Then you're gonna go here to education, right? Write it again. Then go here and put the details about the education, right? The college and those details like that. You're gonna go to work experience like this. Then back here, you're gonna put all the details of the work experience. So that starts to eat up, the page, right? So, and we have this area from here to here, which is just becomes more like just title blocks, right? And then from here this way, where you have information, right, for this.
Yeah.
Going down to here, then when you go here to, let's say, skills, right? You put here, skills. And you have here bullet points, right? Like that, right? Same thing here with languages. You have 2 more bullet points there. and that will make it more of a complete page, right? This part of the thing is interesting here. I mean, this part is nice. Sarah, I think, could be in bold, right?
Yeah.
And this maybe it's I guess there's some, maybe it's more lower here, I think, to that by this line over here. Makes
Okay.
sense, yes. But yes, so this way you eat up all this kind of empty space that's there. All right.
Got it.
Then this one, the same thing is well, first of all, why did you choose center alignment for a paragraph? That's not really typical.
I thought like it was kind of like more like letter format.
No, I mean this is I think that makes it hard to read.
Mhm.
It makes it odd, formatting. So this part again is fine, right? I would say, just do a line to the left side, right?
Okay.
Because then you get things in the middle, and it looks a bit strange. So again, there's still more things you can add here. So the date, okay, address, and name of the company also here, right on top.
Yeah.
And Nicholas, right, is good. There shouldn't be that much gap here because it's a letter. There should be just one line gap between the next one, right? And you might say that instead of starting this paragraph, let's see here, right here, you put maybe you started over here, right? And you ended over here. So you want to create kind of bigger margins in your document so that then everything happens right here, right? So it
Yeah.
looks better organized, and then towards the end here, you put maybe sincerely here, you sign it, and you're done there with the letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Got it. Thank you, Professor.
No problem. All right. Let me clear this out.
Hello, Professor. If you don't mind, I need to leave now to school.
Sure. Okay. No problem. In case I'll post a video afterwards.
Okay.
All right. And let's finish now with Aaron here. All right. Let's see here. That's a nice also. This is another good technique to have, so I like this because if you have stuff here, like experience, education, you might have all this white space over here, right? But if you just kind of imagine a line here and then towards here, you put some other details like city or dates, right? Then that eats up all this white space and just kind of gives extra information to each of these categories. So that's a nice detail as to how we can also make the page appeal, fuller. And I think it works really well. So this is a nice layout here. This, again, it's bold. I mean, again, it's my, purpose. I like to see, this, and then, the next line should be a little bit offset to establish a higher, hierarchy with this. That's the thing I was at with app, education, 1, 2, 3, skills, and language. Okay, good. Yeah, very nice. Then we have here the same exact top. Okay, good. So we have this, align to the left side. So this part you probably don't need, right? Because you already have it, right?
Yeah.
It's already up here, right? Your email, right? And your number. So that part thing we can take it out, right? And then you can make up a signature and just add it there.
Okay, signature.
But otherwise, I think it looks good, yes. What do you guys think? This last one.
Yeah, looks great. Looks good.
I mean, it doesn't have to be overly done, with all this crazy graphics, it's just, it should be simple that when you see it, it doesn't, it doesn't make you, let's say stress, it's just there and you can easily read it, that's all really that matters, the portfolio there, you can showcase your graphics and those things. Here, it should be just simple and beautiful, right? That's pretty much it, So don't go too crazy with graphics here. Just keep it organized. And the most important thing with this document is the hierarchy, right? Because you want to be able to see the categories as you go to the page. And that's really it. So again, take any advice you guys take from today. If you want to go back here and you want to update it, just, resubmit it again with the updates. And then that's it, for this one. So we'll finish here. Obviously, I'm already past my time here. I'll submit to Brightspace the next assignment, which is going to be the cover page and the table of contents. And I'll also add there some samples. And that'll be the next work for you guys for the next week. So,
Okay.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I'll let you guys go.
Thank you, Professor.
Bye,
Anything-
Thank you,
Professor.
Professor. Have a good one.
Take care,
Thank you,
guys.
Professor.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good day.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Have a good day, Professor.
Bye-bye.